Happy Monday again, everybody. This is your girl, Crystal Jordan, with Rolling Out's Reality Check. And I have a very special guest with me today. If you are into gospel or inspirational music, you know this young lady's voice. Not only is she an artist, but she also has her own clothing line. She also has set some boundary, has set some history, actually made history in the gospel artist realm. And so we're going to talk all about that. Please help me welcome today's guest, Keyondra Lockett. Get her in here. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are
How are
you?
you?
I'm good.
Good. Happy Monday to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us today. I was telling your publicist, I think that your single should be the soundtrack for everything that we have going on right now, right?
Listen, look, if everybody thought that way, I would be number one right now.
Well, we need to
So
push
keep
it. We need
thinking.
to push it that way. So the single
Yes,
is Trouble Don't Last, correct?
trouble won't last.
Trouble Won't Last. Talk
Uh-huh.
about the single because it is so timely right now. I'm here in Atlanta, and we know outside of Atlanta and even other cities and states are dealing with this virus and people being back on lockdown, people being, the unemployment rate is up. As a country, we're dealing with just a lot right now. Even the racial tension that continues, we are still, campaigning for Taylor's. The police that murdered her to be put in prison or at least brought up on charges. So much is going on, and your message is trouble won't last. Talk to us about the inspiration behind that song.
Okay. Well, when you think about God and his track record, his
Hmm.
history,
Hmm.
he is always up to something. Whenever a crazy situation arises, whenever things are going wrong, he's always up to something, or he always has a plan. It's not
Right.
necessarily because we say he's up to something, but he already has a plan. God already knows what's going to happen beforehand. And
Hmm.
so that's just the whole gist of the song, that trouble won't last. We deal with so many things and have dealt with so many things in the past, but um, because we know God to be the sovereign and awesome God that He is, what we've experienced, we also went through. You know what I'm saying? And so
Hmm. Hmm.
we've dealt with different things as a country, different things, even on a world. Um, it's just like our world, period. We've all dealt with so many crazy things, and
Hmm.
we've seen how God moved and worked things out for us. So, just as it relates to this whole pandemic, systemic racism, all of that kind of stuff, um, it's really it's not going to change even in this situation. But as it relates to me and what I dealt with and why I wrote this song,
Hmm.
I was dealing with vocal issues like maybe 4 years ago,
Hmm.
and I was really in this depressive state. Still moving, going about my day, singing, doing things, but
Hmm.
because my voice wasn't where it had been,
Hmm.
I was afraid, and didn't think that I would be able to pull out of that. And God showed me, that He had a plan for me. I was able to write, wasn't able to sing how I usually sing, but was able to write and sing a different style of music, which
Hmm.
ended up putting me on Billboard. A song called "Try" that I wrote
Hmm.
ended up putting me on Billboard top 15. Ended up doing a music video for it, which is being aired on BET Gospel. So,
Wow.
it's a really amazing thing to see how in our crazy situations, God can pull you out. And
Hmm.
that's just what He did. So even though I still had those vocal issues during
Hmm.
that time,
Hmm.
now I'm able to sing and able to maneuver through and push through because God brought me out.
Hey,
Long story short, God brought me out.
yeah.
And trouble won't last.
And trouble won't last. Isn't it funny how it seems like when people are at the brink of their discomfort, right? At the highest level of your discomfort or even sacrifice or pain, is usually where your blessing is like on the other side.
Yes, right. Yes, ma'am. It's crazy that you say that because I saw a post by a friend of mine, and in her caption, she said she's learning how to be comfortable in discomforting situations. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you got to do. Instead of complaining, instead of trying to, beat the system, if you will, beat
Yeah.
the process system, if you will. Instead of doing that, learn how to be comfortable in those situations and learn something from the situation. If you
Mm-hmm.
zoom past, you won't learn anything.
Yeah. Wow. 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 So tell us, okay, what about the preparation in that time? Because I know for a singer like you can sing. So when the singer, there's some singers that are, they work with their vocal coach and they can sing, but there's others that my blessing and my calling is who I am. It defines me. It always has. Before you people got on board and knew I could sing, that's what I've always done. So how did you have to, I guess, be patient or deal? What did you do through that struggle for people that are out there that are saying, I hear you, I'm in that place of discomfort, but how do I get to that place where I'm able to trust God, be faithful, and wait until, things turn around?
Right. Well, I'm here to let you know that it's not easy. Nobody said that the road would be easy. You know what I'm saying? The Bible even talks about one of the fruit of the spirit being long suffering, and
Mm,
that's something that we don't really know how to do. We
right,
don't know how to suffer long.
right.
And so I think, instead of telling people or giving them this false hope that, well, all you got to do is pray and it'll be okay.
Right,
No,
right.
it doesn't always happen that way. But the point is to still yield yourself to God, no
Mm,
matter what.
mhm,
It doesn't matter what's going on, what's happening. I know for a fact that God will make a way and He'll change things. Will
mhm.
it happen right now? I hope so. But if it doesn't, God, I'm still dedicated to you. God,
Amen.
my life, my body is still yours. I'm still going to
Mhm,
follow you. And
mhm,
that's the position that we should be found in. And when we're in those positions, whether the blessing comes right away or not, we still
mhm,
believe we know it's going to come. But the comfort is in just being content.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
know that's hard to accept,
mhm.
because I've had to be in situations where I just had to accept that.
Yeah.
But you have to still push forward. Yes, pray. Yes, read
Mhm.
your word. Yes, seek the Lord. But most definitely learn how to be uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. Learn how to just sit there in that
And
discomfort, because that is where the blessing is. That's a
your
huge
character
blessing.
is built there.
There you go. Yeah.
Your integrity is built there.
People need
and
to
and
hear
when
that.
it's
People need to hear that right now. Now, one of the things that I think is beautiful about what's been happening lately, and I think you're a part of this movement, is people that sing gospel or inspirational music, or have a message of hope, that's based in spirituality, have been becoming more mainstream, right? So when I was reading about you, I was so excited to hear about you being the first gospel singer with your own doll that you did. Tell us about that. I'm the ultimate girly girl, so I was like, that is huge, and that's amazing, and that also allows the influence, not so much to preach at people, but there to be influence and there to be balance so that there's positivity out. Talk a little bit about that process in creating the Kenya doll.
Okay. Well, I got a chance to connect with the doll maker of the Kenya doll. I was connected by a lady named Cherie Slate in
Hmm.
Dallas, Texas, and she thought that she was consulting me at the time, and she thought that it would be really dope for me to do this major deal, which was a licensing deal. So
Hmm.
the deal is that they use my likeness,
Hmm.
and they put it on a doll,
Yeah.
and so I had the Keyondra doll out in 2016. We released a special edition for Christmas, and
Hmm.
it sold out. But
Nice.
the thing now is that we're still sitting at the table and trying to decide different things. How to place out whatever else that we're going to do,
Hmm.
because the doll industry, the toy industry, is totally different from music. I
Hmm.
can go in the studio, write songs, do a photo shoot, and all that, and throw some music out there,
There you
and
go.
people
Right.
will buy it.
Right.
But if you don't have the proper things in place as it relates to the toy industry, such as buyers, it's so
Hmm.
crazy because I went to the toy fair that same year,
Hmm.
that same year. I went to toy fair and I met some buyers from Walmart and Target. It was really cool.
Hmm.
But if they're not sold on it,
Yeah.
then they won't really buy into it. But
Hmm.
so I don't mind. Look,
Yeah.
go back to the
We
drawing
got
board, do
we got
whatever it takes. Do what we
well,
need to do.
absolutely. But you know what's so ironic about that is I saw recently that Barbie has released a new line with everything that's going on. You were ahead of the trend, right? Because now people are realizing that, wait a minute, it isn't fair for us not to have representation of dolls that look like women of all colors, of all
Right.
racial ethnicities. People are realizing, I mean, we're just now realizing that. So Barbie has released, this almost like a Black Lives Matter line. All these companies are jumping to get on board. And we've always known that
Right.
our community needed representation in that area, right? So
Yes.
I got a feeling, Keyondra, that the doll is going to do, that you'll be able to get everything the way it should have been then. Now it could have been for such a time as this, because I think there's an awakening and understanding. There's a reception to African American culture on a different level than there was. And so
Yeah.
I definitely believe that. But I congratulate you for being the first and for being ahead of that trend. And
Thank you.
I know that you have a heart for women. This is why I really connected with you when I was reading about you, because you have a heart for especially young women and being able
Yes.
to be a role model and empowering them. So I love that about you. And beside the fact that you have this beautiful voice, I
Thank you.
also wanted to ask you, we know that, again, we talk about gospel artists and inspirational artists becoming a part of mainstream. This year, we saw this a few months ago, we saw the Clark sisters have this huge movie that debuted with Mary J. Blige and Missy Elliott all being a part of the executive production team. I know you had a chance to write with one of the sisters. What was it like working with Kiera, and then also seeing that project come to life and knowing that you've been a part of that story, just, no matter where you came in the story, you've been a part of their story with sharing their beautiful voice with the public.
Yeah, it was amazing to write for her. She wasn't there in the studio when I was writing with the my producer, as well as a fellow artist friend.
Mm-hmm.
The three of us had a chance to write the song that we wrote for her.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did meet her, I met her at her. I think she had a pop-up shop. Yeah, she did a
Okay.
pop-up shop here in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta too. And
Okay.
so did a pop-up shop here. I got a chance to meet her. She introduced me to some of the people who are on her staff for her clothing line. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really dope getting to know her.
Mm-hmm.
We follow each other on Instagram. So
Mm-hmm.
still really dope to see her movement and to see another brown girl killing it out there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that's the dopest thing ever. I love the fact that she was able to record the song that I wrote and all of that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
the dopest thing about it is that she's out there really killing and representing for Black girls everywhere. So I really
Absolutely.
love that.
Yeah.
So but still to have a song that she sang, that she recorded, that's
Mm-hmm.
bomb. It's dope. But the other thing as well is I used to sing in a group called Zael, and
Mm-hmm.
one of my group members was in that movie as well. Her name is
Oh,
Christina
wow.
Bell.
Nice.
Yeah, so
So
it
you
was
were
really
just,
dope.
it was support all the way around for you, of
Right.
project
Yeah.
all the way around.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
now I want to we talk about all things girly. I'm telling you, I'm just enjoying all of this, because you have you have an apparel line called
Yes.
Jolie Noir, which I know is Black Beauty, which I think is so perfect and so fitting right now. It's fitting all the time, but we realize that other people are just becoming aware.
Yeah.
There have been the standards of beauty we were left out. They excluded us, and for so many years, if we didn't have European looks and we didn't fit that
Yeah.
mold. So I want you to talk about your apparel line. I saw some of the images and understood exactly, the
Yes.
inspiration behind them. So talk a little bit about how that came to be and where people can find it.
Okay. Well, my sister and I, we've always had this entrepreneurial spirit on us, if you will. For
Mhm.
those who follow me or who have been a part of my movement for a long time, back in 2008, 2009, my sister and I started a online boutique called the Red Glasses Sisters Online Boutique. And we
Okay.
sold eyewear and different accessories like that. But then as the years went by, the group started, progressing, traveling, and things like that with
Mhm.
ministry. And so we put that on the side. My sister and I
Mhm.
did. Picked it back up in 2017, rebranded ourselves, renamed ourselves, and came up with a better niche.
Mhm.
And who better to service to than Black women? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And
Mhm.
that's what our business does. We service to women. We don't just sell. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
service to
Right.
you.
Right.
So I think that that's another thing that Caucasian businesses don't understand. Talk to us right, and you
Mhm.
get my money.
Mhm.
It's just like in a
Absolutely.
relationship. Talk to me good, and I give you some money. I got you. I give you whatever you want. So
Yeah.
but we know how to talk to us. And
Mm-hmm.
so we wanted to further push the narrative that Black is beautiful. When we go out, still, running errands and things like that, we want to be cute and
Mm-hmm.
fly, and we want to have really comfortable, pretty, just dope stuff to wear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So we sell
absolutely.
sweatshirts, t-shirts, leggings, dad caps, and yeah, it's just a beautiful message to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And we represent y'all and want y'all to, represent us. Like it's just this reciprocated love thing, I guess. We design with y'all in mind because we love
Mm-hmm.
you, and
Yeah,
y'all wear it and support it and show us love back. And when I tell you, don't you tell me nothing about no Black people don't support.
there you
Black
go.
people support. Even during the pandemic, we have gotten so much support. It
I
is
love
really
that.
amazing.
Yeah, no, I
Yes.
love that. I love that. If you guys are just tuning in, this is your host, Crystal Jordan. I'm talking with the inspirational Keyondra Lockett, and we're talking about so much more than music. Going to get back to the single and everything that she has going on right now, but right now we're talking about her apparel line, Jolie Noir, Black Beauty, and how we support each other. And that's such a powerful message, because I think a lot of times there's so many negative stereotypes and messaging that we hear about our own community. I've heard people tell me,
Yes.
"Oh, don't just focus on only Black women because they won't support. Open it up and don't have such a niche market." And it's like, you know what? For so long we've been left out of that. It makes perfect sense to focus on us. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. So I commend you and applaud you for doing that, and for going even further and saying that we've seen our sisters stand up and support us during this time. And we want to continue to do that. You guys go to the website. It is www.joliexnoire.com. Go to the website. I love the sweatshirt that says pretty. There's like pretty for a Black girl, and everything is crossed out. It's just like pretty, For so
Pretty.
I can't tell
Yes.
you how many years we heard that, and I think that it has been passed down for generations. So when young girls see those images, even though they may not have heard some of the things that older women hear, they still know what that means. That means
Yeah.
the less African American you look, the less chance of you to be attractive. But we're
Right.
smashing those stereotypes, and I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. You guys got like an ode to Grace Jones. There's some really dope stuff,
Yeah.
and I love it. I'm telling you, anything girly, I am there. I am
Me too.
always
I
there.
love
Yeah.
Yes.
So talk to us. I think you have a EP that you're coming out with. How has it been as an artist during this time when you're not necessarily able to touch fans and sing to people and feel that energy? How have you been dealing with that?
Well, actually, the best thing that has been working for me right now, because I'm still able to touch my fans, I have
Mhm.
music at radio. So,
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, I'm number 17 on the Billboard charts at
Mhm.
radio. Thank you. And so, they've been playing my music. I get texts, I get DMs about people loving the song. I have a lyric video on YouTube.
Yes.
People write on there how they, I just heard it on this station and I heard it on this, and I had to come and listen. So I'm still yet touching, my fan base. And that is the dopest setup that God could have ever given me. Because
Mhm.
yes, in this time, it is really hard to be able to touch the fan base, to get out there and do bookings, because a lot of people are not traveling. I'm
Right.
definitely not traveling.
Right.
And so
Right.
the way that things are going, with even with this virtual setup, it's still pretty hard. And so you got to really think on your feet.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we went on and did my EP.
Mhm.
Like right before the shutdown, I was in the studio for like a good 7 weeks recording, and we ended up finishing like a little bit before things like completely shut down here
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so I was able to finish,
Mhm.
but I still needed to go in and clean up some things. So now that we're kind of like, we're able to move around a little bit more, I'm going to go
Mhm.
back and finish some things, send it to mastering, to
Mixed
mixing as
master.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, look, I'm about to get this music
Have
out.
to
I
get
don't
it
have an
out.
exact date,
Well, I
but
love
yeah.
it. I thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little while. I know we've got to get ready to get out of here. We have another show that's getting ready to start, but I was wondering if you could leave us with a little something inspirational on the way out, just a little taste of something, just to lift everybody's spirits that's tuned in right now. We would definitely love that.
I will. Okay. I love the Lord. He heard my cry and pitied every groan. Oh, long as I live, oh, and troubles rise, rise. I'll hasten to his throne.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That was absolutely, absolutely beautiful. You know, that is a rendition of that Whitney Houston did on the Preacher soundtrack. That is my
Yes.
favorite Christmas song every year. I put that song on, and you did that beautifully. Thank you so much for joining us. We encourage everybody, please follow Keyondra on Instagram. You can go to the website, which is there in the comments, to purchase clothing from our apparel line. And of course, we'll be hearing on the radio.
Yes.
We'll definitely hear you on the radio.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you for joining, and we will definitely want you to come back and keep in touch with us if you release new music.
Yes, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
All
Bye.
right, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be back at 3:30, but right now, tune in for Munson Steed. Our esteemed publisher, Munson Steed, has an upcoming conversation, seat at the table conversation midday here at 2:30, so stay tuned. It's rolling out.